Welcome. Good morning. It is so good to be here with you this morning, and I am so excited to start by everybody please rising in mind, body, or spirit, or as you are able, in joining me to sing Blue Boat Home.
Feel no motion standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. Universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the story sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the light of the heavens and our beautiful blue boat home. night winds urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me. Sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
You may be seated.
Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Rochester. My name is Reverend AJ. I use he and him pronouns, and I'm one of the ministers here. I want to acknowledge right away that we are gathering barely a day after an act of political violence was taken against a presidential candidate, in this case, Donald Trump. This is a difficult and scary time, and I encourage each of you to take it slow. Maybe don't watch the news constantly for updates, but wait for official, confirmed reporting before believing too deeply in something that you read or hear about. In a message from our Unitarian Universalist Association, which denounced the political violence, they also encouraged Unitarian Universalists in this moment to return to our spiritual grounding and faithful practices, whatever it is that brings that centering and grounding for you. To take a breath, reflect together, wait for emerging truth over quick speculation, anchor yourselves in communities and relationships that foster resilience, liberation, and strategy. Well, you all must have gotten the memo because you are in the right place for that. Or rather, you are with the right people because church is not a particular place, not a building, not a particular time on Sunday, but it is the people gathered with a purpose. Here at First Unitarian Church of Rochester, our mission is that through spiritual connection in community, we listen deeply to others and ourselves, we open to wonder and transformation, and we serve together with love and humility. Leading worship for us this morning is Massey, who has held a number of roles on staff over the last few years, which has been great preparation for her next adventure, which is going to seminary to become a UU minister. And worship takes many participants, including Reverend Verdis and Amanda, our Director of Religious Education, and we're excited to have Katya and Gordon providing beautiful music with us, as well as a barbershop quartet will be making an appearance, if I'm not mistaken. If you are new or new-ish here, please stop at the welcome desk downstairs so that we can help connect you to things and get to know you better. And if you're here today because you are going through a hard time or you are worried about somebody else who is, please reach out to our pastoral care team. Mary is wearing a stole in the center of the congregation right now. You can connect with her during or after the service or during Connection, which is our time for smaller groups, community connections, and activities that takes place after worship. So church is a whole lot more than just worship. Two quick announcements. One is that Rochester Pride is coming up this Saturday, and so we will be there with a booth. We're going to be in the parade with First Universalist and the UU Church of Canandaigua. So we need volunteers to help make all that happen and to parade down in the parade together. So check out the table in the lobby where Lynn Kinsman can be reached, or you can reach out to me if you're interested in volunteer, and I will connect you. Also know that registration for Unirondack, the UU camp in the Adirondacks, it's not our church specifically, but one weekend a year, we all descend there and have our own weekend camp. So that'll be the last weekend in September. So you can find out more about that in the newsletter and get connected. So as we settle into this sacred time and place, I invite you to take a centering breath. We acknowledge with respect the Seneca Nation, keepers of the Western Door, and part of the Haudenosaunee people on whose ancestral and contemporary lands First Unitarian now stands. And wherever you may be online, I invite you to light a chalice, and here in the sanctuary, Leah will light our chalice. as we say our unison words together. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift.
Please join me in mind, body, or spirit in singing Come Sing a Song with Me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind, and I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind, and I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind, and I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind, and I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. You may be seated.
When I was in college, I went to, can everyone hear me? Yes, I can. All right, there we go. Yes, yes. I went to Boston University School for the Arts. So, and I wanted to be an opera singer. And then they told me I was too short, but that was my senior year. Long story, that's a sermon. But when I was in my first couple of years, my education was all about perfecting my art, and I was perfecting it for entertainment purposes only, until I was inspired. It took me all the way up to college to be introduced to a queer artist and cultural critic by the name of James Baldwin. Why all the way up into college? Why? Because he was a queer writer, openly queer, and a lot of his writings reflected that, and it's currently on the banned list. James Baldwin is. So apparently when I was going to high school, he was as well. But I came across James Baldwin, and he became an inspiration for me. And in 1962, he wrote about the creative process. And this is what he had to say. He said the artist is distinguished from all other responsible actors in society, the politicians, legislators, educators, and scientists, by the fact that, and excuse the gendered language of the 1960s, he is his own test tube, his own laboratory, working according to very rigorous rules. However unstated these may be, and cannot allow any consideration to supersede his responsibility to reveal all that he can possibly discover concerning the mystery of the human being. And I was like, wow, okay. So the artist is not just for entertainment purposes only? He goes on to say that the precise role of the artist then is to illuminate the darkness, blaze roads through that vast forest, so that we will not, in our doing, lose sight of its purpose, which is, after all, to make the world a more human dwelling place. Isn't that why we come to church? To be inspired, and also to be the inspiration to make the world a better place for all. So please rise in body or in spirit, greet a neighbor, and name a work of art that has inspired you. Please let us greet each other in community.
Hello.
I was inspired when you opened your mouth.
Oh, thank you.
That is a piece of art. Yeah.
So you're at Eastman, you teach at Eastman?
No, I used to do quite a bit of accompaniment there.
Oh, okay.
I work on cruise ships now, so I'm away quite a bit. Home during the summer.
Doing musicals and such?
Just playing solo. I used to be in the show band, but I don't do that anymore.
Nice. That's so cool.
It's fun, yeah. And you?
I'm a teacher. I'm a music teacher.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Where?
Starting at Hilton next year. I was at Marion, tiny town, the past 3 years. But next year I'm going to be doing 7th grade choral.
Oh, great. I tune pianos in several school districts all around, so if you...
Good to know. We have way too many in here. I mean, it's like, we have like 3 uprights and a grand just in the one school. And I'm the only one using them. Yeah, it'll be a good fresh start. So, yeah. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Because we had somebody, but they're way out in Wayne County, so, yeah.
Yeah, so I usually tune up like late August, mid-August to late August, all the schools.
Do you do halfway? Are you here like halfway through the year as well?
Yeah, I
Okay.
usually go 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I hope you were inspired by others' inspiration. Please join me and stand in singing Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirring of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving shape the life of justice. Roots hold me
seated.
Dun, da, da, da. I would like to invite the children to come forward for the Time for All Ages story. Any children in the audience or anyone who's a child at heart, please come on forward. Thank you. Yay. All right. So I can't actually see you with these on. All right. Good morning, everyone. Yay. We have so many friends here this morning. I'm so happy to see all of you. It's really wonderful to see you. How many people came because they want to make pancakes with Aunt Perry? Yep. Nice. I love that. All right. So, have you ever pretended to be a superhero? Dun, 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 dun. And have you ever imagined like what type of superpower you would want to have if you were a superhero? I'm talking to you too. What superpower would you choose? Let's think of them. There's, let's see, super speed or super strength. And there's some big words like telekinesis, where you move something with your mind. Or let's see, teleportation, where you start in one place and in the blink of an eye, you're in another place, right? There's invisibility and flight, being able to fly. What other superpowers can you think of? Super jump. Totally. What else? Oh, yeah. Super swim. Very fast. Super scream. Oh, yeah. Super scream. So, like, you can get so loud that it's like a power you could. Yeah, I've seen that one before. Yeah. So, what do you think? Which one would. Oh, yeah. What did you think of? Oh, yeah, breathing underwater. Yeah, so cool. Which one do you think you would choose? What would you choose if you could have any superpower? Yeah. Teleportation. I mean, that'd be so convenient, right? It'd be so convenient. Yeah.
I'd like to fly.
Fly. That's mine. That's mine too. Yeah, I would love to be able to fly. Yeah. Telepathy. Ooh, another big word, telepathy. Mind reading. Could read someone's mind. That one I don't think I would want. Okay, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, some parents and maybe other people would love that superpower. Snap your fingers, dinner is on the table. Yeah. Say it again. Talking to animals, yeah. Or like transformation, physical transformation into an animal or something. But talking to animals, yeah. All right, cool. So, I mean, so fun to think about having a superpower, right? But you know what I'm also thinking about? I actually think you have superpowers. I think you have them. So when we come together in community, I think each of us brings a superpower, right? So maybe you're really good at making people laugh. Or maybe you're a really good listener. And that's an awesome superpower. Have you ever had anyone listen to you in a moment that you really needed it? So transformational. Or maybe you're really good at caring deeply about other people. Maybe you're very playful or imaginative. Maybe, I don't know, you can probably think of some of these types of superpowers. Maybe you're not easily discouraged, right? These are all superpowers. And I think you can probably think, if you're brave enough, about which one you might have. What's your superpower when you come to community? It takes, you have to be willing to value yourself and think that you might be powerful in order to think, what is your superpower? Is anybody brave enough to share? What do you think is your superpower? Yeah. Willing to take risks. Yeah. Bravery. Yeah. Asking questions. What do you think? Making yourself laugh. Levity. Loving people. Amazing superpowers. So I came this morning as dun 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 dun, super you. Right? What do you think my superpower is? Any guesses? Creativity. Ooh, yeah. What do you think? Curiosity. Yeah. Kindness. Friendliness. Yeah. Flying. Woo! Yeah. Totally. All right. So as Unitarian Universalists, we get to come together in community. We get to bring our superpowers, and we get to know that it really makes a difference. That we do that we come together, that we notice, this is who I am and what I really bring to the community. So how powerful, how wonderful. And maybe one of you can also fly. That would be incredible. I hope you'll tell me if you can and take me on a trip. All right, so we are going to go make pancakes with Anne Perry. And may this story unfold in your hearts. May you think a little about what is your superpower in the weeks to come. May this story unfold in your hearts until we meet again. And if you can help us sing our children out to their adventures. We'll go this way.
We bless you on your journey through, from sheltering arms to the wide sky blue, in your joyful jumps and your sad times too. You bless us by being you.
Please join me in the spirit of meditation, reflection, and prayer, beginning with a centering practice, which I encourage you to adapt to whatever is best for your own body, mind, or to translate into your own spiritual practice. But what I find helpful for centering is beginning with a slow, if not deep, breath in and out. Softening your gaze, closing your eyes if comfortable, or otherwise loosely focusing on a point ahead of you. Take another breath here. And check in with your body. Where do you feel pain or stiffness? Perhaps you can gently send love and relaxation to those parts of yourself. Where do you feel good or strong? Perhaps you can hold gratitude and pride for those parts of yourself. Check in with your mind as well. What are the worries, the anxieties, the to-do lists, the problems that you can't get out of your head? I invite you to greet them as faithful companions, and if you can, set them aside for this time together. They will surely be there when they are needed. What truths bring you comfort and help center you? For me, it's being reminded of things like, I am because we are. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. To live in hearts that love is not to die. Check in with your heart as well. What grief or sorrow weighs heavy on your soul this morning? What is lifting your spirit or bringing contentment? How might your heart be widening and growing in love even in this very moment? Let us linger here in shared silence for a few moments more. In this space of centeredness within us and among us, I offer this prayer from the Reverend Erica Hewitt. Mystery of mysteries, we are thirsty for justice and bearing witness to grief. We are claiming our inherent wholeness and healing strands of the great web. We are hungry for liberation and cracking ourselves wide open. We are mourning the dead and fighting for the living. We're singing for joy and striving for meaning. We are embodying love, reaching out in love, acting on love's behalf, and letting that love wash over us, ebbing and flowing as it carries and holds us all. May we do it all over again when the new day comes. Blessed be. We enter now into ritual to bring what is on our hearts and lay it on the altar of community and spirit. Honoring the complexities of life, bring to mind whatever grief or gratitude or growth is alive within you. Online, you are invited to share what that is in the chat. And here in the sanctuary, you're invited forward to one of the altar tables to drop a stone into the water, perhaps holding it for a moment before you do so. If you would like an usher to bring a stone to you, please simply raise your hand. May we now share in this ritual of community care and witness to one another's hearts. All that we hold in our hearts, for ourselves, for each other, and for the world, is held in this community, and by a larger love that will not forsake us. Amen. Blessed be, and Ashe.
I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would be so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. There is hurting in my family, and there is sorrow in my town. There is panic in the nation. There is wailing the whole world round. But I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would be so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. May your children see more clearly, and may your elders be more wise. May the winds of change caress us, even though it burns our eyes. For I am open and I am willing, for to be helpless would be so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. Give me a mighty oak to hold my confusion. Give me a desert to hold my fears. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder. Give me an ocean to hold my tears. For I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would be so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change.
And have to come after that? Wonderful, beautiful, beautiful. That put me in a mood. Oh. And everything our church does for ourselves and for each other is made possible by what we bring to it. So each week we practice shared generosity to support the work and witness of Unitarian Universalism in Rochester, and half of our Sunday offering goes to a partner organization working to create a more just and loving world. Today we share our plate with Rochester LGBT LGBTQ plus Mutual Aid, an organization that seeks to meet the temporary needs of those in the Rochester community through the generosity of neighbors. When we are in need, we can turn to one another for support. When we have access, we can support each other. In the spirit of abundance and generosity, our offering will now be received with gratitude.
Hey, nonny ding dong, a lang, a lang, a lang, boom, ba-do, 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 do, ba-doom, ba-doom. Life could be a dream, shaboom, if I could take you up to paradise above. Shaboom, if you would tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again, shaboom, and hoping we meet again. Life could be a dream, shaboom, if only all my precious plans would come true. Shaboom. If only I could spend my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Ba-doo, 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 doo. Bon, shoo-be-doo, every time I look at you, something is on my mind. If you do what I want you to, baby, we'd be so fine. I know life could be a dream. Shaboom, if I could take you up in paradise up above. Shaboom, if you would tell me I'm the only one that you love. Well, life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hey, nonny ding dong, a lang, a lang, a lang. Shaboom, shaboom. Ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, shaboom, shaboom. Ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, shaboom, shaboom. Ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, shaboom, boom, ba, boom, shaboom, shaboom. Ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, shaboom, shaboom. Ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, shaboom, shaboom. Ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, shaboom. Boom, ba, boom, ba, shoo-be-doo, every time I look at you, something is on my mind. If you do what I want you to, baby, we'd be so fine. I know life could be a dream. Shaboom, if I could take you up in paradise up above. Shaboom, if you would tell me I'm the only one that you love. Well, life could be a dream, sweetheart. With you, my darling, life could be a dream, sweetheart. With you, my darling, life could be a dream, sweetheart. With you, my darling, life could be a dream.
Ooh, hello. Hello, everyone. Oh, I don't know why I'm speaking into this. I got this. Welcome. Hello. My name is Massey, if you don't know me already. Hello. Can you not hear me? Can you guys hear me good now? Okay, cool. All right. Well, the prompt that I used when writing this sermon was artists that inspire us. So I want to start with a story from the 1930s written by a couple of artists that inspire me quite a bit. This is the story of a child whose parents helped him flee from war and abject destruction at the hands of an unjust society, but were unable to flee themselves and died. He was sent out to safety on a lifeboat, too young to understand the horror of what is being done to him. This child traveled vast distances alone and afraid before finally arriving in America. And against all odds, a family found him, took him into their home, and raised him with love. As the child grew, he learned of what had been done to him and his birth family. He learned about the culture and traditions of his people that he never knew. Their traditions of love and hope inspired him deeply, and when he became an adult, he dedicated his life to fighting injustice and protecting people. He became an investigative reporter and used this new power to expose unjust systems and to lift up the stories of the marginalized. He also took a more hands-on approach to combating injustice, and by now I'm sure some of you kind of know where I'm going with this. This, of course, is the story of Clark Kent, also known as Superman, created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster in 1938. Sent from the exploding planet of Krypton to Earth and raised in Smallville, Kansas, using his extraordinary alien powers to fight for truth, justice, and the American way. It's a story that we're all familiar with, whether you've read the comic books, seen the original Christopher Reeve movies, or just know the story as part of the general American pop cultural canon. I first learned about Superman back when I was around 5 through a big box of hand-me-down comics, and also the Saturday morning Justice League cartoons. The human memory works in some really remarkable ways because I remember watching those Superman cartoons on Saturday mornings very, very vividly, but I can't remember my license plate number to save my life. And I drove here today. I started reading when I was very young, but I was so young that I didn't really understand the difference between fiction and nonfiction yet. So I fully believed that Superman was A, a real guy, and B, these comics and TV shows were chronicling his life the same way my school picture books were chronicling the life of Abraham Lincoln. And one day my poor mother had to gently break the news to me that Superman wasn't real. And that broke my little brain. I was inconsolable for days. And I don't remember the exact details, but I do remember the emotions that I was feeling. I was definitely sad because I would never get to meet Superman, my hero. And I was angry at my comics for lying to me, even though this was a fantasy I entirely made up in my head. But surprisingly, I was also kind of afraid because there was this sense of comfort in thinking that Superman was real, because in the comics, Superman saved you. It didn't matter who you were or what kind of trouble you were in, he would never fail to save you. I knew that if I fell off a bridge or got washed out to sea, I wouldn't have to worry because Superman would swoop in and rescue me. And knowing that this wasn't the case, that there was no super powerful yet super good person out there always looking out for me, and that I had to rely on other humans, did not feel good. Was I being overdramatic? Yes. But as my interest in Superman shifted away from him as my childhood idol to more of a subject of my interests in literature and history, I've returned to this moment where I learned Superman wasn't real because I feel like Superman and superhero stories like this speak to a very interesting part of us. This is a part of us that sees the world around us and all of its horrors and injustices and wants to do something about it, but also has to reckon with the power and agency that we have as normal human beings. We want to stop climate change, end police brutality, stop wars and famine and bigotry and everything that makes living on this planet together so incredibly difficult. But we're just one out of billions of people, and there's no way we could dismantle all of these systems of oppression and injustice with the power and little power and agency that we have. It's very easy to feel powerless and paralyzed when faced with the idea that ordinary people, with all their flaws and baggage and self-destructive tendencies, have to solve all of these problems. And that's where Superman comes in. He has the power to dismantle entire oil rigs in minutes or walk into the White House and demand those in power change their policies of hate. And reading that makes us feel kind of empowered. I mean, there's a reason why, to this day, Superman is the highest-selling comic book series in history. The idea that someone that powerful can also be that good is intoxicating. But there is a little problem with this, isn't there? Superman isn't really known for beating up politicians and dismantling oil rigs. He saves kittens from trees and fights evil monsters from outer space, not the cops. He stands for truth, justice, and the American way. He's pro-establishment, right? The modern Superman salutes the troops and stands for the flag. But that's not how he always was. The motto that we all associate with Superman, truth, justice, and the American way, is not his original motto. Superman's tagline in his very first issues all the way back in 1938 was Superman, champion of the oppressed. And the reason why I framed his story at the beginning as a story of an immigrant is because Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, the teenage creators of Superman, were the children of Jewish parents who had fled Europe due to rising anti-Semitism at the beginning of the 20th century. In many ways, the Superman story mirrors their own. The creators of the most famous fictional immigrant in the world are the children of immigrants themselves. Two Jewish teenagers witnessing the rise of anti-Semitism in Europe in the 1930s and creating a hero, and also in America, and creating a hero that protected the oppressed and punished the oppressors is an incredibly powerful image. The Superman they created, which captured the hearts of millions and essentially birthed the entire superhero genre, threatened bigoted politicians, protected union workers, and beat up corrupt cops. He was a true investigative reporter who would expose the injustices of the world by day and pummel them into irrelevance by night. It's a far stretch from the watered-down pro-America Boy Scout Superman introduced in the 50s and 60s as part of a propaganda campaign in comics to bolster nationalism in children during the Cold War. However, before his motto stopped being the champion of the oppressed, Superman had his own radio show. For kids in the 1940s, radio was the most accessible way to consume Superman content. And so the Superman radio show had a massive, massive influence on hundreds of thousands of people. The Adventures of Superman radio show put out a story called Superman versus the Clan of the Fiery Cross, where Superman faces off a not-so-subtle stand-in for the Ku Klux Klan. The story goes a little like this. A Chinese-American family moves into the suburbs of Metropolis where their house is promptly vandalized by the Klan, who burned a cross on their lawn and threatened their kids. After learning about this hate crime, Clark Kent and Lois Lane from the Daily Planet befriend the family and expose the members of the Klan in their news stories. Superman provides protection to this family and violently breaks up a Klan rally, effectively ending the Klan's influence in Metropolis. This story was so popular and influential that it actually caused a significant decrease in the real-life Klan's recruitment numbers. They were banking on the increased nationalism caused by the end of World War II to stage a resurgence. But after Superman smashed them on public radio, people were way less likely to take them seriously, and their planned resurgence failed miserably. And I just think that it is so powerful that this character created by two Jewish teenagers that fought for people like them within the pages of a comic book was able to tangibly thwart the efforts of a real-life hate group. And that's the real power of this Superman story. Yes, he can be interpreted as an expression of our feelings of helplessness and our desire for someone to come along and save all of us, but he also is us. We have the power to hinder the rise of a hate group by simply writing and sharing a story. This brainchild of two marginalized teenagers has tangibly made the world a better place. And I want to extend this idea to art in general. There is a power inherent in creating art. As we all know from firsthand experience, art has the power to change people. The act of creation is revolutionary, and it's something we can all do. Now, I'm not saying that everyone should go and try and get published. There was a long history of oppression within the publishing industry, and Siegel and Schuster themselves had a famously difficult time publishing Superman. So this isn't a call to go out and try and become a professional artist necessarily. However, the Superman story does tell us all to create. It doesn't matter what medium. It doesn't matter if you share it or keep it to yourself. Create, create, create. Creation is not the only way we can change the world, but it is one in which we have a surprising amount of agency. Think about all the small little passion projects that someone showed you or that you stumbled upon organically, whether due to your local library or the miracle of democratized information that is the internet. Think about how this art has influenced and changed you. Because I believe an important function of art is community care. We make art like Superman to say, I love you and I care what happens to you. It reminds us that relying on each other to save the world isn't a bad thing. We are allowed to have faith in each other. In other words, Superman wouldn't be so popular if everyone hated everyone else. Because the part of us that loves art is also the part of us that loves each other. But most of all, the agency that we have in creating art reminds us that we have agency in everything else too. Our power does not stop and end at writing a story or painting a picture. We may not have someone to swoop in and save us all from the problems we face, but the good news is that all of our human problems were made by us humans. What we can make, we can destroy, and what we destroy, we can rebuild. Maybe not at the same rate as a superhero, but we can do it. It just takes all of us. And I'm happy to report that the writers and artists at DC Comics, the publishers of Superman, have been using the agency we have in art to once again portray Superman as a true champion of the oppressed. In 2019, the award-winning comic writer Gene Luen Yang adapted Superman versus the Clan of the Fiery Cross into a graphic novel called Superman Smashes the Klan. A phenomenal read that not only depicts Superman smashing the Klan, but also explores Superman as an immigrant and how his identity as an immigrant intersects with those of the people that he's protecting. Also in 2021, DC Comics officially changed Superman's tagline from Truth, Justice, and the American Way to Superman. He fights for truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. Which I personally think is a beautiful callback to what Superman was to so many people at his inception. Because we are all capable of creating this better tomorrow. It is up to us. But sometimes we just need a comic book to remind us. Thank you.